receiver Christian Watson has provided a positive update on his rehab from that torn ACL he suffered in Week 18. There's no timetable for his return yet, but he hasn't had any setbacks and addressed his progress earlier this week.
Recovery is going really well. I'm in a really good spot here. Just keeping the mentality there. Keep just working. I got a couple more months ahead of me, but I'm attacking it every day. I'm in a really good spot.
Okay, so let's stay there with what's on trend around the NFL. I'm going to give you a stat, and our fine experts will tell us if that continues. With the Packers, that wide receiver room, they need some help. Green Bay wideouts had 25 drops last year, 6 more than the next closest team. They also ranked outside the top 20 in reception percentage and receptions overall. So, Tim, did they have the right pieces this offseason to break that trend?
I actually think they do. Part of it is, struggled a little bit. A lot of that was due to injury. That's what we're talking about with Christian Watson. And I also think that it's why they went receiver in the first round of the draft this year. I think they have a lot of speed. I referenced it earlier talking about Jacksonville, their desire to get speed, explosive plays. I think Green Bay has it. They have a quarterback that has a skill set that fits, playing with a bunch of speed on the perimeter. I think they're going to be in a much better spot than they were a year ago.
Yeah, go.
All right, man. We gotta get your audio going. That was on them, not me. Yeah. Listen, you saw the stats. Let me bring it up, and you saw some of those highlights. And obviously, they're going to show them a little bit more of the more exciting highlights. But I think it's actually pretty perfect that they showed those types of highlights because it leads into what I want to talk about, where it's just, you have drops. Percentage, at the bottom, drops at the bottom, and receptions at the bottom, and yet Jordan Love was the number one wide receiver who threw he had the farthest average depth of target per pass attempt out of all the quarterbacks who were actually starting, who actually were 15 starts or more. Because I know Jordan Love obviously got banged up, but he was the highest. There's a couple of the other quarterbacks that are above him are AR, Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston, quarterbacks that didn't play the whole season or who literally are just let me throw the ball 90 yards every chance I can, like AR does. And so you're leading the league in drops, your reception percentage, 26th, total receptions, 22nd, right? 6, the drops 6 more than the next closest team, the Browns, 19. Throw shorter passes, and I put that on LaFleur. Make things easier for your quarterback. Make things easier. You're not getting the separation. Lamar Jackson is also kind of high up there with a further average depth of target. But there's a key difference because 2 of his top receivers are at the top of the league with average separation. So they're getting the separation. And that's probably because, a combination of things, but definitely because of the threat of the run as well. Not only from himself, but also because of Derrick Henry. They had such a more dynamic offense that it's going to keep defenses significantly on their toes. The way how the Packers kept their defenses on their toes are just kind of we can throw all over the field and I can make insane throws all over the field. So, I'm going to give you some angst, but it's just get some shorter throws. Get Jordan Love some more layups. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But then it's so crazy because you have Wicks and Reed, top 8 in most drops. But then you can see, and it's okay, well, they're top 8. But you can see the amount of targets, 74 for Wicks. Reed, 75. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb has a lot of drops, but he was targeted 146 times. Double that. 101 receptions to Jaden's 55. To Wicks's 39. I mean, the drop percentage just ends up being through the roof. It's one thing if you're having a lot of drop passes because of just of the sheer volume. But I mean, let's take a look at that. Number 2 and number 3 in drop percentage. I mean, that's just devastating. That really is tough. Again, it's one thing, and this is now, consider this is just the percentage of drops with Wicks and Reed. I mean, like that is a legitimate thing, and it's not everything, right? I mean, it's not, because again, you can see Amari Cooper, you can see Coleman, so you can see Buffalo dealing with it, like the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a lot of drops in 23, and they went on obviously to win the Super Bowl. So it's like it's not the worst thing, but it comes back and haunts you big time. How did the Buffalo Bills season end? Drop pass, right? Like it comes back and haunts you. The Kansas City Chiefs had 1 million drops in 23. In the playoffs, they became shorthanded. You have Travis Kelce making like diving, like backwards catches against the Baltimore Ravens. So it's not as big of a deal if you do it throughout the season, as long as you step up in the playoffs. Obviously not the case here. And it's crazy because Wicks is at the top of the league in separation, but they're not catching the ball. And you have Bateman, for Baltimore, as I referenced before. Baltimore, they got 2 up there. Zay Flowers, Bateman. And, I mean, if you have 2 receivers like that that are getting that much separation. But again, it's not everything. Because again, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They're lower on separation with Devontae. A.J. Brown's all the way down here. I mean, you got guys that no one even really knows that much getting more separation. And again, they still go on and win the Super Bowl. So that's why you can't just live and die by some of these stats as like proof or evidence as something 100%. You try your best to kind of look at everything together to try to figure out, what am I seeing when I'm watching these games? What are some of the stats showing me? How do I make sense? How do I put together, this puzzle piece? And I guess when I look at some of this, when I see you're getting decent separation, but then you're also dropping the ball. You're asking your wide receiver, you're asking your quarterback to throw the most yards per the highest in the league in average depth of target for what you're asking your quarterback to throw, and you're then in turn ranked 19th in yards after catch. So you're not, when you put this all together, it's like, on one side, you're kind of helping your quarterback out. You're like, hey, you're getting some separation. And Tucker Kraft was up there as well. But then you're not catching the ball. You're asking your quarterback to throw far. And you're not getting a lot of yards after catch. Like, it's just, I think there needs to be more of a priority this season on how do we make things easier for Jordan Love. Not that, hey, Jordan Love's a great quarterback, so let's just put a lot on his plate. I'm always banging that drum of make things easier for your quarterback. And I just do not think that the Packers did a good enough job to do that. And when you see that you're obviously having a problem with these drops, this is going to work perfectly. I don't even know that this is going to be true, but I guarantee you it's going to end up to be true. And I'm going to go jump back. Let's go back to 2023. Yep. Kansas City Chiefs were having issues with receivers, dropping passes. I knew I was going to be right. Patrick Mahomes at the bottom of the league in average depth of target. 6.5. Jake Browning and Joe Burrow, they split the reps there. So they're kind of like smushed together, honestly. And they're only separated by, 0.1 here. So and Joe Burrow was injured, right? He was laboring. And then I guarantee you, Patrick Mahomes, as per usual, is at the top with yards after catch. And he was truly at the top, number 1. So that's what I'm trying to say. In a season when the Kansas City Chiefs were dropping the ball a lot, and they were like, oh my God, they're dropping the ball. And I remember people like Colin Cowherd were like, see, you can't blame drops as a reason for why you're losing. And it's like, yeah, when you actually have the right approach. Yeah, they're leading the league in drops, but they're still then asking Patrick Mahomes to throw shorter passes and get bigger gains afterwards. You're really helping and supporting your quarterback in that, from that position. Compare that to what the Green Bay Packers are doing with Jordan Love. They're like, oh, you're leading the league in drops right now. Let's have you throw further. Let's not get a lot of yards after catch. When we actually do get separation, we're still going to drop the ball. Like, it's a frustrating place to be in. So yeah, I just want to see this offense feel more connected, feel more intentional, and I just want to go into these games feeling like they're trying to get Jordan Love settled, asking him to do less, allowing him just to kind of get in the rhythm of a game and shorten up the field right now. Just simplify things rather than constantly trying to put things, on his plate and extending the field every single chance you have. Just because you can make the throw doesn't mean you should. Right? It really becomes that simple. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Green Bay Packers and their passing game woes? How do you think they improve? Do you think they will? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.